B&M Hypers are some of the best coaster models out there. There isn't a bad one out there, but some are better than others, and Candymonium is for sure one of the others. This was one I was really wanting to be one of my favorite B&Ms. However, there was just something missing from this visually striking roller coaster, and while it doesn't deliver a bad ride, and there are some moments where it really shines, I felt that it had missing potential where it could have been an all-time great coaster from B&M. So join me today as I review Hershey Park's tallest roller coaster and second hyper coaster. When Hershey Park announced they're getting a B&M Hyper, I thought this was a pretty strange choice, honestly, as the park already had a hypercoaster just a short walk from where Candymonium was going to be built. However, the more you think about it, the more it makes sense, as Candymonium and Skyrush's only similarity is they both clear 200 feet in height. Skyrush was a much more intense experience, delivering strong and powerful moments of ejector airtime, while Candymonium is designed to give a gentler but still fantastic moments of airtime. Well, at least that was the intention. Regardless, while Skyrush appeals more to the roller coaster enthusiast, delivering strong and powerful moments of insane airtime, I can see how Candymonium was a desirable choice to appeal more to a general public. Candymonium makes a grand entrance to Hershey Park. When installed in 2020, Hershey Park spent $150 million on the roller coaster, new ticketing turnstiles, shopping area, and an entrance plaza. It all looks fantastic, with Candymonium's perfect milk chocolate colored paint on the track, along with a beautiful looking kiss fountain as the coaster wraps around this awesome looking centerpiece, serving as the finale to the roller coaster. The sign fits in so incredibly well as an entrance to the coaster, drawing you into the queue. The setting of Candymonium is fantastic as well, with the vast majority of the ride flying over Spring Creek, which gives a picturesque setting for a roller coaster on hot summer days. One final note before getting into the ride experience. While as shiny as amazing as Candymonium looks, you will be tempted to head right into the line. The number one rule with visiting any theme or amusement park is to never hit up the roller coaster right in front of the park, especially one as eye-catching as Candymonium. Candymonium will get a huge line right after opening, so it's best to head to the back of Hershey Park and hit up Candymonium midday after the line has had a chance to die down. Alright, let's get into the ride experience and go over what Candymonium does well and what it could have improved on. Starting off with what any good B&M Hyper Coaster does, with a quick lift building up anticipation as you climb 210 feet in the air. Also, just like any B&M Hyper, that first drop is one of, if not the best part of the ride. Dropping 216 feet into a ravine and hitting 76 miles an hour with a 77-degree angle is an amazing experience. B&M has mastered the parabolic arc to maximize that amazing floater airtime on their first drops, and there is no exception here on Candymonium. The first element past the first drop is a massive camelback hill, which once again, no one does better than B&M. This hill does give great floater airtime, however, it's far from the best B&M can deliver. Compared to the first camelback on Diamondback at Kings Island, which gives a borderline ejector airtime, you start to see where Candymonium falls flat for me. Nevertheless, while not delivering powerful airtime, this camelback does deliver some great floater. Up next is a turnaround, and this is just like most B&M Hypers turnarounds, nothing special, but it's fun to go into something banking this hard at high speeds. As you're now heading back into the park, you hit a second camelback hill, which thanks to a set of trim brakes, really pulls back on delivering a great pop of airtime. It's still there, but I do wish this trim was a little bit further into layout, much like Diamondback, which holds it until the third hill into the layout, and I wish Candymonium could have taken full advantage of its high speed and do what it was designed to do, be an airtime machine. Now, something that newer B&M speed machines have that I cannot get enough of is their speed hills. Every single coaster of theirs that has this element is borderline one of the best elements of the ride. Candymonium is no exception, where you blast through this speed hill, getting a fantastic pop of powerful floater airtime. This is by far the best element of Candymonium, and even if the layout as a whole was stronger, this would likely still be the best element on this hyper. You then turn right into an upward helix that does deliver some positive G's, but nothing too powerful. Now, the next element is the biggest disappointment in the ride, and when I first saw the POVs of Candymonium, I was hoping to get another fantastic moment like Orion delivers right before the final brakes, or Fury 325's masterpiece dive off the treble cliff, delivering the best moment of airtime on those coasters. However, Candymonium hits this element with just a little too little of speed, and the airtime falls flat on its face. This is the moment when I realized this coaster was not going to live up anywhere close to its older B&M Hyper cousins. One final camelback, and once again, it is neutered by a set of trim brakes, which at this point in the layout barely gives a speck of airtime. You then head into the finale, and while others have criticized this helix for delivering little to no forces, I honestly don't feel like it felt out of place on Candymonium, as it wraps around this amazing looking kiss fountain. Much like Fury 325's helix, designed to bleed off speed while not really delivering too many forces, it is still a blast to go through, and I felt the same thing doing a lap around the kiss fountain. You hit one more small hill and head into the brakes, which does deliver a little bit of airtime to send you off from your 4,633 foot journey. Just like any B&M Hyper Coaster, you want to experience the coaster in either the front or back row to give the best experience possible. I was able to get experience on Candymonium in the back row, which traditionally delivers the best airtime on these airtime geared coasters. While I did not have a chance to ride front row, the Hyper model does still deliver a fantastic experience in the front row, giving the full sensation of speed and while delivering almost as good of airtime in the back. It still has great moments and pops of airtime as it enters the large airtime hills. Now, before I get into the final scores, I have to state I am basing my review off of one ride I got last summer. I do think this roller coaster does have the potential to be greatly improved by providing a much better ride. However, the one ride I did have should have hit all the marks of delivering a great ride, with it being a hot summer day in August with the highs hovering around 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and waiting till midday to allow the coaster to warm up. I truly do not understand exactly why Candymonium was running as slow as it was. However, I do have a theory. For anyone who's seen my review of Hershey Park, as a whole would know my one big issue with the park was the horrendous operations. Candymonium was one of the biggest offenders in delivering a terrible output, which is a sin, as a B&M Hyper is designed to cycle people incredibly fast. So what? The line moves slowly. That doesn't affect the ride itself, right? Well, the major issue I theorize is with the train stacking on the final brake run, allowing for the grease and the wheels to cool down, adding friction and delivering a slower ride. So with all that being said, what are my final thoughts on Candymonium? While it does seem that I was pretty harsh in my review, overall Candymonium is a good coaster. However, it does leave a lot to be desired, especially in the airtime department. The first half of the ride does deliver great moments of speed and easily the strongest moments of airtime in the ride. The first drop over the creek is fantastic, climbs into a solid airtime hill delivering pretty good moments of airtime, while still pales in comparison to some of B&M's all-time great camelback hills. The speed hill, on the other hand, is perfect and easily the best part of the ride. However, from this point to the final breaks, nothing stands out, which just emphasizes the huge waste of potential. One other final issue with Candymonium is for being a hyper coaster, 4,636 feet is relatively short for a speed machine. I personally feel that a hyper coaster's butter zone is around a mile of track. While not a deal breaker, I do feel that Candymonium would have benefited from being a hair longer and hitting a few more elements with speed before hitting on the final breaks. With that being said, Candymonium is a good coaster that I do hope my opinion does drastically change if I get much better rides in the future. But currently, I give the eye-catching Candymonium a score of 8.0 out of 10, currently ranked number 65 out of the 217 roller coasters I've ridden. Well, what do you think of Candymonium? Do you agree with my review or did I miss anything? Let me know in the comments. Those of you who are new, consider subscribing to Park Productions, where we have attraction reviews, park reviews, trip vlogs, and many other fun videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.